Hello! I know this isn't the prettiest background in the whole world, but for doing makeup videos this is the best place for me to sit because that's like the biggest, brightest window I've got in my flat is the big one in my living room. So this is the best place for me to sit because it's right opposite the window. So that's just that. I'm doing like a chatty kind of makeup video today because, God, last week was a very, very tough week for me. So I thought sharing that on here is probably the best thing to do because it was anxiety related. It was a very tough week. Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram you kind of will have seen some of what kind of happened last week. But yeah, I'm kind of only just able to film this now as well because I was so kind of anxious about it that I didn't even want to talk about it out loud, so that's why I'm kind of just talking about it now as well. But yeah, I thought I'd do my makeup while I chatted about my week last week and how I got through it, because I think when you have anxiety you're always going to have, or hopefully not, but a lot of us have weeks that are pretty horrific and difficult. And so talking about that with you guys and how I got through that and how I'm now not completely back to normal, but I'm much more able right now. I'm able to sit there and film this video, for example, and I went back to work at the weekend, so I'm on the mend. So I thought I would share last week with you. I still probably look pretty exhausted because I'm on this new medication, which means that, which for some reason, and I looked it up, I'm on a new beta blocker. I've never tried beta blockers before and I bloody love them. They are so great. If you've not tried beta blockers and you have anxiety, specifically kind of panic disorder, then I would definitely recommend them. But I looked it up and yeah, this new beta blocker medication kind of stuff that I'm on, this new beta blocker that I'm on is actually, like, a lot of people have said that they've had really bad sleep problems with them. I looked it up last night because I've been getting really bad sleep problems because of, well, it must be because of the beta blockers, because it's only just suddenly come up and it's just been like, I've been waking up in the night, I've not really been able to sleep past like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's just like really annoying because I'm on another medication for anxiety, which is citalopram, which I really kind of do need to get a lot of sleep on, so it's kind of like those two are kind of affecting my sleep at the moment. But I would rather have that kind of problem than panic attack problems. I'd much rather sleep problems any day. So I will start from the beginning of last week. I had just generally a very tough week. I had some like things that I'm not able to talk about on the internet happen, a couple of things that were quite big life events, shall we say. One of them was like a very difficult thing for me, and then another one was a very difficult thing for somebody else that I'm close with, so both of them I'm not really able to share on the internet because they're not just my things to share, so I find that that would be breaching somebody else's confidentiality. But they were really tough things for me to go through, and so my anxiety was kind of, my anxiety was kind of pushed to the back, and I wasn't really thinking about it, and then it all of a sudden came out in this big, massive panic attack. I'm going to say now, this could be quite a triggering video for people that have panic disorder and that have severe anxiety, because I know sometimes when you watch a video when somebody's really talking about panic attacks and stuff, it can make you feel quite anxious. So if you're somebody that might be in that category, then don't watch this video. When was it? It was last Saturday. I'd actually called in sick to work because I was feeling just a bit funny, and the whole day I was kind of feeling quite anxious. I wasn't really able to eat. I was kind of just like really anxious, blah blah blah. So I decided to go and have a bath. I had my bath, I tried to eat something, and then I can't really remember the ins and outs of it. I've got a sofa in my living room, obviously, and it turns into a sofa bed, and so I asked my boyfriend, can you turn that into the bed, because I'm really stressed out. I think I need to just like have this really comfy and all that kind of stuff. And so he put that into sofa bed, and I lay down in it, and all of a sudden I started having one of the worst panic attacks, if not the worst panic attack I've ever had in my whole life. It was horrible, so horrible. For me, my main symptom when I have a panic attack is feeling so extremely nauseous. And I've had a couple of people ask me like, how do you feel when you're having a panic attack? For me, the worst symptoms are feeling extreme nausea, so I feel like I'm going to throw up, and I have emetophobia, which is phobia of sick, so it's so terrifying. I feel like I'm going to shit myself. I don't know how else to say it. At the same time, I feel like my whole body, like everywhere in my body is like super so hot, and like almost like you can't really feel it. Honestly, it's just like an impossible thing to try and explain to somebody, but it was the worst panic attack I've ever had. And so I was lying on the sofa bed thing, and I was like, right, I was like to my boyfriend, you need to phone my dad right now, I need him to come and get me, I need him right now. So my boyfriend tried to phone my dad and he wasn't answering. He tried to phone the house phone and they weren't answering. My mum was in town and my dad was, both my parents were out that day, and it was a Saturday, and I was just like, oh god. So I was like, keep phoning them, I need somebody to come and get me, I need somebody to come right now, like I need help. And I kept like screaming like, I need somebody to help me, I need somebody to help me. And my boyfriend was trying his best to calm me down, but there's not really that much that somebody can do when you're having such a severe panic attack. So then I was kind of having this thing, and if you've ever had a panic attack you might know what I'm talking about, where it was like I'd have like a panic attack where I was like really panicking, then it would calm down for like literally a couple of seconds, and then it would go straight back up. So in the interval of like a couple of seconds I'd quickly text my mum and my dad saying, I'm having a really bad panic attack, I need somebody to come to my flat right now. My mum saw that and she was at a bus stop waiting to get the bus on the way to back here, and so she just got a taxi instead, and she, after like half an hour, she got here. And luckily my dad has seen the message by this point as well, so my dad was driving back from where he was as well, so they're both on their way here, which kind of reduced anxiety maybe slightly, knowing people were coming to get me. But I was still just like so not good. My mum came in and I wasn't wearing a top or a bra, and that's the glamorous anxiety for you. Like, both my parents saw me naked because I couldn't put on any clothes because I was so anxious. My mum came in, she saw me, and she was like, okay Emily, shall we try and put a top on? And I was like, I couldn't even speak, I couldn't speak at all. So she was like, right, okay. She saw that I wasn't able to put a top on, so she was like, okay. She grabbed my boyfriend's jacket and she just wrapped that around me, and I was in my pyjama bottoms, no shoes on, and my dad was outside in the car, luckily. So this might all be a bit like jumping about a bit, but obviously I don't really remember. So yeah, my dad was outside in the car and my mum got me and she wrapped this jacket around me, and I like walked outside, and where I live is on a main high street. And I know a lot of people that work round about me, and I was walking across this big main road, big main high street, in just a jacket and pyjama bottoms, and the jacket was quite small, and so I think it was quite visible that I wasn't wearing a top or a bra. But anyway, I got in my dad's car, he drove me back to my mum and dad's house, and then I took some quite strong, I want to say like Xanax, or I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I took some quite strong medication, and eventually I started to come back down. I'd left my house without keys, without my phone, and my boyfriend came around and brought all my stuff round. And I stayed at my parents', I think for a couple of nights, but I think the panic attack lasted, my boyfriend said, around like 2 or 3 hours. I would have like small moments where it would go back down for a couple of minutes and then it would go straight back up. So that's one of the frustrating things, because you feel the panic attack going away and you're like, oh, it's gone, and then it comes back and it's just horrible. Even talking about it does bring back anxiety, and it makes you feel just uneasy talking about it, but it's such an important thing to talk about. But it's just one of the most horrific things in this planet. Like, having a panic attack is horrible. You feel, I've known people that have panic attacks that think they're genuinely going to die. I feel like I'm going to, like, oh god, it's just awful. So eventually I came down from that panic attack, and then after like being at my mum and dad's for a little while, the next couple of days after the panic attack, I noticed that I was kind of on edge the whole time, being like, it was kind of like, I know or I feel like a panic attack's gonna happen any minute. And I felt like, I don't know if you've felt like this, but you felt the panic sitting somewhere in your body and you know that it could come up at any moment, and it was just really horrible. So after a little while I phoned the doctor and I got an emergency appointment at my doctor's, and I told my doctor, sorry that was a really loud train, I told my doctor everything that had happened over the past few days and how I was still not able to come down and all that kind of stuff. And she was actually really helpful, and I've not always, like, I know that GPs and doctors and stuff like that, they don't always know how to help people with mental health problems, because I think because they're just trained in mostly flus and sore throats and internal illnesses and medical things, and so it's not actually their fault. They've just, I don't think, always been trained in it. But the doctor I saw was fantastic, and she gave me something called, I don't even know, is that actual hair from an animal? Probably. She gave me beta blockers, and I've never ever taken them before, but I've heard good things about them, and she said that it will help with the physical anxiety symptoms, which for me is like the most difficult. Like, I hate how I feel so nauseous and so anxious and so oh, it's just like that's what a panic attack is like the attack of like intense like physical stuff. And so having beta blockers has helped me so much. So I've been taking beta blockers. I'm still on citalopram, but I've been taking beta blockers. You can take about 2 a day is usually what people take, is 2 a day. But if you're having a real emergency day, you can take up to 3. She was very helpful and very much like, this might not work, and if it doesn't work, then come back and see me. And I have another appointment with her, and we're going to talk about like how it's been going and stuff like that. But it's just amazing, like you just feel like, basically when you have a panic attack, it's like adrenaline, like the fight or flight kind of thing. I'm sure if you've got anxiety, you've heard a million people say to you stuff about fight or flight, but it basically stops that from happening, because it basically doesn't let your adrenaline get to a certain level. So I've found it very, very helpful. And I found it also really easy to take the medication, I think, because you feel the effects of it almost like the same day. And so basically what I do is I take one in the morning, and then when I feel the anxiety or the physical symptoms start to come back, then I'll take another one, and usually that's absolutely fine. And it's just very unlikely to have a panic attack when you're on them, and I just think it's just the best thing ever. There's not that many side effects either, and the doctor said to me that most people, when they start going on it, she rarely hears of people having like side effects and stuff like that. The only side effect, like I've said, that I've had is my sleep's been a bit funny, but like I said, I would rather not sleep again for the rest of my life if it meant that I wasn't going to have another panic attack, because they're just not nice things to have, are they? So yeah, that's kind of, I just kind of wanted to update you on my anxiety situation. This has, I guess it did lower my confidence a little bit, because it's kind of made me feel like maybe I shouldn't be going to university, maybe I shouldn't be trying to challenge my anxiety too much. I think the most difficult part of panic attacks are you feel so helpless. It's kind of like having some form of illness where it's like, there's a lot of illnesses that people have that are illnesses where you might have no kind of control over your body, people that have seizures, people that have epilepsy, that kind of thing. And I feel like panic attacks are kind of, in a way, kind of similar, because there's not really any way you can control. There's things you can do. There's things like beta blockers, which I've now found out about, and there's things like, so for some people therapy and that kind of thing works. There's loads of different things you can try, but I think it just, in the moment, the hardest thing was being so helpless and knowing there was nothing I could do. And then for the days after that, I just kind of still felt like really like, well, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do, because I'm just so terrified of another panic attack happening. So that's what I've kind of been, the rest of the week was kind of just like winding down and trying to just be really chilled out and try not to do anything that's too scary. I'm going to do my eyebrows and then I'm going to come back because this is going to take ages and I can't talk. So yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle, but I think the good thing to remember is that I've had panic attacks before and I've come through the other end. I think recently I have been quite frustrated by not being able to do everything that I want to do, and I think university is seeming less and less likely at the moment because after that big panic attack, I guess my confidence has just been a bit shattered, because there's nothing worse than having a panic attack, but at least I was in my own flat, but I can't think of anything worse than being at university and having a panic attack like that because I just don't think I could function. Yeah, if any of you suffer with panic attacks, what are your best tips? Is there something that you do every day to avoid panic attacks, or when you're actually having a panic attack, what do you do? Do you prefer being on your own, or do you prefer to be surrounded by people? I prefer to be on my own when I'm having a panic attack, although I wanted my parents to come and get me. That's just because I wanted to be in their house and I wanted to kind of have people near me just in case, but I want to actually be in a room by myself to calm myself down. I always feel like when I do makeup videos, by the way, or when I do makeup chat kind of things, it always turns really bad because I'm not really concentrating on the makeup. So yeah, that's kind of my update at the moment. I also wanted to say that my scarf shop is back up and running. So as it's getting colder, I am knitting more and I have lots of scarves for sale on Etsy. So if you were interested in supporting my scarf business, then the link will be down below to my Etsy page. I also do lots of different requests, so if you didn't see a colour that you wanted, then you can just message me and I can get that sorted for you. I know one of you bought one the other day and I was really excited about it. I don't think I'm going to bother with eyeliner today because that just, it takes up a lot of time, eyeliner. So I'm just going to go in with some mascara. I use the NYX Worth the Hype mascara and it is so fantastic. Pretty sure it's only like £9 or something like that, which is quite expensive for somebody that's on my kind of budget compared to other really good mascaras. My other favourite mascara is the No. 7 purple one. I don't know what it's called, but the No. 7 purple one, and it's like £13, so that's just a bit expensive. Look at the difference, can I just say? I don't know if you can like properly see, but like these are really super long and then these are like non-existent. There's definite difference. Oh, that mascara is just so fabulous. I'm gonna just put on some lipstick because I'm not going too adventurous with makeup today. And I've also finished what I wanted to talk about, so I'm trying to kind of end this video. I am using the Too Faced Melted Matte lipstick. I think this is in Child Star. It's really good. I got this because Sunbeam Jess talked about this in one of her videos. You also can't talk while putting on lipstick, can you? That will do. To kind of sum up this video, I am starting to kind of get back to normal with things. It's kind of made me look a lot at my anxiety and my life as a whole, and I'm kind of processing quite a lot in my brain right now with lots of things. In an ideal world, I'd be able to do everything that I want to do, but I can't at the moment, and I think just realising that's okay. I can't do everything that I want to do yet, and that's alright. I'm still, you know, I'm going to be able to at some point, I believe, and just trying to be happy with what situation I'm in right now. Luckily, these beta blockers are really helping to make sure I don't go to that panic level, but except from that, I'm just kind of trying to get on with things. Any of your panic attack experiences and how you've overcome the afterwards days, I'd be really happy to hear about, because I think everybody would be happy to hear about that. But thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!